For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a brand new driveway awning from Vango. So with me here today, I've got the Vango Galli CC Air Low. So basically this almost is kind of a lower spec version of Vango's new Galli Pro series. So it's kind of the Galli name which we've kind of known and loved for many years, just really orientated being more kind of price pointed, so trying to make it a bit more affordable. So what they've really done is kind of changed in terms of the Galli. So also worth mentioning, they do a poled version, but the main difference between the Galli poled and the Galli CC is obviously not only because one's got poled and air and the other's got air frame, but we've got this new enclosed kind of front porch to it. So rather than having that open porch, you've got actually a front door on that section, so it increases the length of the awning a bit, but it does give you a little bit more flexibility that you can obviously enclose it up. It's almost worth saying that if you want that more kind of open front and something that's probably a little bit more price savvy, it's worth having a look at the Vango Vacation Air. In all purposes, it's pretty much the same, just with that open fronted side, and does save you a few pounds on that side of things. What Vango have used is kind of their sort of Sentinel Active fabric, so it's around about sort of 70D material, 3000mm high to the head, so it's a nice sort of standard material, something that's not necessarily too heavy or bulky, and it can packs down to a bit more of a more easier to handle and store pack size. It uses Vango's inflatable air beam system, so we've got each individual beam is pumped up on its own, and you can see from our own Attwoolls pitching packer videos we've done on the Gallis over the years how quick and easy they really are. Other things to mention, the fact is also it features Vango's air speed valve system, which allows you to, like a bayonet locking, get it locked on with the pump. Use that hand pump which comes supplied with it. It's like a stirrup pump, and then you also get an accurate reading on the pressure gauge as well, which is quite nice in comparison to other brands. Generally what we've got is almost pre-angled beams to try and make it feel a bit bigger, and because of the orientation of kind of the Galli CC is actually it's sort of fitting side on to the vehicle, so it means that you're kind of facing the front where the vehicle is facing, rather than onto your neighbour's pitch. And admittedly, if you have like a reverse version, i.e. say like a California where the sliding door's on the driver's side, it works to a certain degree. It just means it's going to face the back of your vehicle rather than the front, and then the tunnel section is a little bit, we'll call it like an S shape. It's not quite as flowing as you would quite like, but it offers something. It still will fit, it's just maybe not as perfect as I would personally want it to be. What we've got is obviously lovely big crystal clear windows throughout the awning itself to get plenty of light in, and in the main body we're going to have then toggle up curtains to get the privacy as when we want to. Low level ventilation beneath the main windows on the side, just to help increase airflow itself, and just make it a bit more fresher on the inside itself as well. One thing that's worth also mentioning as well is we've got sort of guide points on webbing straps on the bottom to get a bit more tension, and then kind of these red guide points as well. They're not the most visible, I will say. It's nice that obviously it matches kind of the trim around the bottom, but from a trip hazard point of view, I think at night that could be a little bit of a trip hazard itself. As we kind of come around to the front of the awning itself, the front door can open from sort of right to left, and you kind of do it halfway or fully open. Just offers a little bit more shelter to that point as well. And you have got toggle points sort of halfway. So when you have it pegged, for example, that can kind of fold back and open like so. Failing that, we'll fully roll it back. So it kind of feels a bit more like an open, sheet, ground sheet canopy, but just with the point of having to open the actual door up itself. Now it's worth mentioning when you move up to the Pro version of that, you do get a much more flexible door. So you haven't got to kind of roll it all back. You can almost take it down from one side to the other, and also it will zip back the opposite way to what you want to go for. It's a little bit tight, but you get the concept. So it kind of feels like a semi-open canopy really. It's rolled back out the way, albeit in a bit more of a sausage kind of fashion. That's maybe not as appealing, but you have that little bit more flexibility. And really the only difference is in terms of the overall length is just this part here. So if you look at the vacation, for example, it gives you the same sort of internal space. It's just that little bit more of a slant at the front there, which maybe doesn't look, it's not too bad actually. Obviously guide points tension it forward and backwards, again to give that sort of tension throughout the roof. But I'll tell you, we'll kind of walk inside the Galli CC and talk through some of the more features that it does have to offer. So now we're inside it, you can kind of appreciate probably for the overall length, and that's probably one of the nice things about these kind of awnings in general when they're sort of side fitting on, eyes facing the view, because really you're not actually coming too far off the van, you are going essentially more along the length of the van, so you're just utilising the actual pitch you are paying for. Obviously the thing is, it gives you obviously more internal space, from which is also quite a nice little feature. As we kind of move into kind of the divisional door between the sort of front awning area and then obviously the main living area, we've got this full-on mesh door as well to help airflow directly into the actual awning itself, and again help for circulation. So you can have a lantern on in the middle of there and not have to worry about the bugs coming in at night, for example. As we kind of open it, the door, it's almost like a two-door zipper. So one for the top and one for the bottom. You have got a little bit of a lip coming directly in as well. So I mean, it does help with the seal of it, but it is a little bit of a trip hazard. It's just one of the things you've got a bit more conscientious of. There is a side door in the tunnel section which does drop down, so you have got a little bit more lip-free access, but it's just something to be obviously aware of. Two mesh windows on either side, so that obviously with the front door creates that whole sort of bug-free barrier. On the side here we've got curtains that toggle to give you obviously the privacy when you don't want anything is. Obviously it's going to limit the breathability element of it a little bit. And then you've still got sort of core features in the main awning area, be it sort of hanging point for lanterns located in the front section, and the same thing in kind of the main body here as well. Inside here is a very sort of spacious size. It runs about sort of 3 meters 10 wide, but I think the total length is around about 5 meters 55, thereabouts. And then we've got standard sort of 10 centimeter tubes in here as well, just to give it its main kind of structure. You've got multiple options from the bedroom side of things. So you can go for like a 2-berth bedroom, which would take up sort of a space like that, and it's kind of reversible. Failing that, you can go for the new 4-berth bedroom, which will basically sleep 4 people, but cover off that point there and still give you a little bit of a kind of a little section here for sort of storage. Of course, what you can always do is take it down or utilise what we have here, have a tables and chairs, and then really this becomes your main kind of living area rather than just necessarily a sleeping area. We also mentioned on the outside we've got low level ventilation down the sides here as well, and we've also got Vango's TBS system, which stands for tension ban. It's these kind of straps that go up to the roof section. What it does create is kind of a triangle structure from the top outwards, so it gives you a bit more stability. So say the wind's coming from one side, it kind of retains the shape and obviously just gives it a bit more oomph behind it. Now you've got 2 points, one here and one here. Something you wouldn't necessarily use all the time. It's something you probably put up when you leave it alone or drive away for a period of time, just to add a bit more stability. Like I said, it's not really practical having little points around there, but again, probably 99% of people never really use it, let alone it's actually there. A ventilation point at the top, so you've got a little one there, and a little one, so it's not the biggest amount of ventilation throughout the awning itself, then it's all down to hit, you know, a keen kind of price point. In fact, let's pick the camera up and kind of get a little bit more up close with some of these features that I'm talking about here. So as we kind of open up, you can see obviously the depth of the canopy. So you can just that little sort of triangle point located down there, which is just the main kind of difference. You've got the ventilation panels directly in, and as we come into the main part of the awning, again, still got crystal clear windows. You've got your clips at the top here, which are designed for the TBS, and then also then separate clips for the bedroom compartments. It's very simplistic in its design. So you've got toggle up curtains, you've got a position to have them kind of halfway or fully up to top, depending on how you want to have it. So you can have a little bit of privacy, but also a little bit of light coming in directly as well. Other things we've got on the side is you've got a blank panel located there, and then the door that would lead you out to the tunnel section itself. So how we've got it here is kind of actually pitched away. There is a drop down door on the side, so it will toggle down to give you a flat walkway in for sort of push chairs or even anyone else. And then on the tunnel section here, we unravel this. We've got a door section built into it, so you can enter into the vehicle without going through the awning every single time. You've got multiple attachment methods you can look at. So you can go for basically You've got clips that goes directly over the top of the vehicle, so that comes standard. You've got the feeding, which can feed into an awning rail, ideally onto a fixing kit, which can then go into a wind out, and then you've also got a sleeve located there for a pole and clamp kit, so I can go into a like a reamer rail, that sort of thing, or failing that, there's also sorry, second pair of hands, Velcro tabs that basically you can go onto a roof bar, so you've got a bit more flexibility there, and there's a bit more adjustment into it. So it's available in kind of two heights actually, so you can get it in a low or essentially a tall, so it doesn't matter if you've got sort of a small little VW vehicle, or you look, or alternatively more of like a taller kind of motorhome. So the low itself will fit anything from 180 to 210, whereas a tall would do 255 to 295, so quite a bit of difference. That there's a bit of a middle gap there really. Most people, I'd imagine, really are probably going for more the low size. If you are in that mid size and you like this design and concept, then it's worth looking at the Galli Pro, which is the next model up. So there's quite a few superior features from that, and actually the price point does go up as well, be it the fabric, the more flexibility in the front door, the bigger beams, the Skytrack, zip curtains, so you know, and more mesh, separate door, so it does jump up quite a bit. So it's always worth having a consideration of that particular model as well, and we've done our own video review on that, which you can always happily check out. But all in all, I think, you know, there's a lot more talking points here. You know, I think for what you pay, for what you get is certainly good value. Not quite as good as value, like I said, as the vacation, I think, because it just by losing that little bit of an element of the front door, you sort of loads of room here, you can save yourself a good amount of money, and you've got exactly the same functionality and specification as you see there as well. So I think, yeah, it's sort of picking and choosing what's important for you, whether you want that extra function or whether you'd rather some money in your pocket. For all means, let us know what you think of the Galli CC. It's always great to hear feedback from you, good, bad, or indifferent. So feel free to comment in the box below. And if you want more information on the product, be it sort of the pack size, pack weight, floor dimensions, individual features all listed for you, you're welcome to check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to the website with all the latest prices, offers, and accessories to go with it. So that's pretty much everything really. From an accessory point of view, it's worth looking at things like a footprint, a carpet, the fixing kits. You also got things like the bedrooms as mentioned. So there's quite a lot to consider when you are looking at the awning itself and some of the add-ons that all goes with it. But in all, that's kind of our brand new video review on the exciting Vango Galli CC Air for the 23 season going forward. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon in our next video.